You're tuning into Black and White Sports on YouTube. The no-holds-barred truth on sports. The main event starts now.
I'm back. Rodriguez for our Black and White Live. Well, if you are familiar with this channel, or Black and White Sports, you know that the DeShaun Watson situation is something we have kept tabs on, and we have probably at this point done 30 or 40 videos on. Coming out of Houston, the Houston area, I'm in Texas myself. Mr. Matrix is down in that area. I'm about 4 hours north. DeShaun Watson is a very big story in this neck of the woods. Well, we've got two stories here because there were starting to be some rumors, maybe some push, maybe some behind-the-scenes drive in the direction of a DeShaun Watson New York Giants hookup situation. And, well, it seems that has been completely shot down. Now, I'm glad I'm able to do this video because it allows me to sort of give you my take on the general manager hire, which I've got to be honest with you, I think it's a pretty solid hire. It looks like it will be anyway, okay? We don't know. We think Brian Daboll is probably the future coach, but that's not a given either. So let's get to DeShaun Watson. Let's get to that first, and then we will address Daniel Jones because it's pretty surprising. I know damn good and well Giants fans are livid right now, and I'm really sort of torn, okay? And I'm torn because I'm a 49ers fan. You might be like, well, what's that got to do with anything? It's got to do with Alex Smith. That's what it's got to do with. So I'll kind of tell you why I think there might be a little bit of a relation between those two quarterbacks and how things might ultimately turn out. Let's get to Watson first. Giants say they won't trade for Texans' DeShaun Watson. The New York Giants will not trade for quarterback DeShaun Watson, says team owner John Mara. The Texans plan to trade Watson at some point this offseason. Because the Giants expressed interest in former Dolphins head coach Brian Flores, whom Watson likes, but I keep telling you folks, Flores does not mutually love DeShaun Watson. NFL reporters surmised last week that the Giants would hire Flores and trade for Watson. Mara crushed those talks quickly. We're not trading for DeShaun Watson. How about that? Mara adds it is not the right fit because of the allegations and the Giants' salary cap problems. Bravo, John Mara. I got to give you some credit. At least you recognize and can stand by some kind of, have some kind of moral fortitude here when it comes to DeShaun Watson and push back from the table. I like it. So far, both the Dolphins and Giants have said they will not trade for Watson, raising the question of who will. Though Watson is facing 22 allegations of misconduct and likely a suspension next season, he did not play in 2021. There should be a market for Watson after the court adjudicates him. The Broncos, Panthers, and Eagles are possible landing spots for Watson, assuming the Browns stick with Baker Mayfield and the Steelers avoid Watson trade talks. I don't know. I still think the Eagles are the front runner here. Now, football people lie. So no one would be stunned if Mara trades for Watson next week and says he changed his mind. I don't believe that will happen. Yet, if we take Mara at his words, Giants fans should expect another season of Daniel Jones. Well, that has been confirmed by John Mara himself. We do feel that Daniel can play. We've done everything possible to screw this kid up since he's been here. We keep changing coaches. We keep changing offensive coordinators. Keep changing offensive line coaches. Bravo, John Mara, for recognizing this. I take a lot of responsibility for that, but let's bring in the right group of coaches now and give him some continuity and try to rebuild the offensive line and then be able to make an intelligent evaluation of whether he can be a franchise quarterback or not. I have a lot of hope for Daniel, and I know how badly he wants it. I know how the players feel about him. We are certainly not giving up on him by any stretch of the imagination. Okay, well, a couple of things here. Number one, I think you do, as a Giants organization, you need to go into next season having a borderline starting quarterback as a backup on that roster, okay? And somebody by the name, by way of Gardner Minshew, somebody like that, okay? Somebody that you could arguably say Gardner Minshew's better than Daniel Jones right now, okay? But there are things, and you guys know I really study the draft, particularly quarterbacks coming out. There's some things I like about Daniel Jones, but there's no doubt he's regressed, but so has that organization, okay? Coaching-wise, offensive line, Mara hit it on the nose. Now, they hired a general manager that's got ties to the Buffalo Bills. Joe Shine, I'm going to say. I'm kind of butcher the name here. But he was a player personnel guy. Long resume. Okay. I like the hire. And immediately that draws some connections around the Brian Daboll of the Buffalo Bills. And New York talk radio, it's kind of odd. Boomer Esiason seems to be kind of for the hire. Greg Giannotti hates the hire. He hates it. He thinks his success is tied to Josh Allen. Could very well be. But let us recognize one thing. Number one, during Daniel Jones' rookie season, he flashed real potential. He did. He also made some throws. I noticed some throws that I got to tell you, half of the league's quarterbacks cannot make. He fit some throws into some tight windows, and I was like, you know what? Pretty sure Kirk Cousins is probably not making that throw, believe it or not. Okay? And I would think, look, I know Kirk Cousins' track record, but my point is, I think if you ask most Giant fans, they would probably take Kirk Cousins for a couple of years just to see what happens, because you will probably win the NFC East, or at least very much be in play for it. Okay, so you could at least sniff the playoffs. But my point is, I'm glad they're not just giving up on Daniel Jones right now. Okay, bring in a offensive guru with a pedigree. Brian Daboll, I believe, looks at Daniel Jones. He probably sees that 80-yard run that Daniel Jones had and goes, this kid is very athletic. And look, depending on who they hire, if it's somebody like Daboll, good Lord, he may be thinking, look, he's probably not Josh Allen, but he can flirt and be in the neighborhood of a very, very functional and then moving over to good starting NFL quarterback. You got to put some continuity around these guys. And the reason I brought up Alex Smith, people forget, Alex Smith was a full-blown, all-time bust with the San Francisco 49ers through his first 5-6 years until Jim Harbaugh showed up. And then all of a sudden, guess what? Alex Smith became a good, solid NFL quarterback for the last, 7 years of his career? Completely flipped the narrative on his NFL career. Okay? And the fact is, and I'm a big Alex guy, but Daniel Jones is more athletic. Even though Alex Smith could run, a lot of people didn't realize that. Daniel's got a better arm than Alex, and he's probably more mobile than Alex, and he's certainly a lot more younger. Does that mean that the Giants shouldn't explore free agency? Of course not. Does that mean they shouldn't explore the draft? Of course not. But there's no good quarterbacks coming out in this draft, okay? At least of worthy of high pick, okay? Kenny Pickett is down towards the end of the first, early second, all right? And DeShaun Watson, the one reason I killed that whole thing to the Giants is easy. The New York media would take his situation and absolutely destroy him. He's not coming to New York. Okay, Deshaun Watson is not going to New York. That would be a dumpster fire of epic proportions. And I know he has said he wants to go at times to the Jets. They got Zach Wilson, so they're out. They're out. Look, it's Philadelphia. It might be Denver, but do not sleep on the Eagles and Deshaun Watson. Okay, tell me what you think, Black and White Live fans. I love these kind of videos because I get to just talk straight football, personnel, all that sort of good grittiness that I love when it comes to making these videos. Peace. I'm out. Till next time.
Thanks for watching the show. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Be sure to tune in next time on Black and White Sports.